My name is Ashley Collins. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I have a very, very special guest with me here today. I usually do these things at night, so it's nice to have some actual sunshine. I am here with, introduce
Kevin,
yourself.
Kevin Swagger, Velcro Yuppie.
Can you tell us about your handle?
It's actually just something we came up with in college. The Velcro part was because blame for everything stuck to me. It didn't matter whether I was involved or not. I got blamed because I looked guilty. I always look guilty. And the yuppie part was because I was about as far from being a yuppie as it was possible to be.
What's a yuppie?
That was a young, upwardly mobile professional.
Oh.
They would dress in suits or um, I forget. They had like an outfit that they would normally wear, a button-down shirt and stuff like that. And I was wearing a old army coat and plaid shirt, t-shirt, army boots.
Oh, okay, that makes sense now. That's super cool. I love that. I love that now. Okay. So you have a YouTube channel yourself.
I do.
Okay, can you tell us about it?
So far, it is mostly just let's plays, video games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to do some other stuff too, but I haven't gotten to it yet. One thing I want to do as a response, because to your video about interracial dating, because there was one thing you said that really fascinated me. You said that black women are the least sought after women, and I believe that because I believe you,
Mm-hmm.
but it still strikes me as weird because
Yeah.
since my wife died, I've met six women that I've thought, you know what, if I decide to start dating, I think I'll ask her out. And of those six, three of them were black women
Hmm.
because they're just wonderful.
I mean, I'm biased, so I think
Well, yeah,
so I think you're wonderful, and it's so strange. And I definitely I think I said in the media in the video already. I think it's definitely the media, the portrayal that we're all angry. We're all
yeah.
I don't think that helps either. But I think we're slowly working towards it, very
Yep.
slowly.
Yep.
I do get a lot that guys are like, oh, I was scared to ask for your number. I'm like, why? Just do it. Okay. So are you on Twitch or
No, no, just YouTube, and then I play at my house here.
okay. Cool, cool. Because I'm slowly trying to understand the gaming world because I know it's huge right now. It's exploding. Like you can make a profit from it.
Yeah, I've thought about going on Twitch, but I don't know if I can devote that much time to it. I don't game like I used to. I used to put in an hour or so a day,
Uh-huh.
and anymore, I might get 2 or 3 hours a week.
Oh, see,
Just
because some of them are spending 12 hours a day, right?
yeah,
Oh,
lots of people are really making money at it.
wow.
And then you have the people who can make real money. That's your professional gamers, the ones who go into esports, uh, like StarCraft and Call of Duty, all of those. And some of those people are bringing home seven figures.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm in the wrong field. Okay. Tell us about falling in love.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Um, okay, nobody knows this,
Mm-hmm.
but Diane and I met because she was looking for somebody to spank her, and I
Literally.
like spanking.
Literally. That's
Yes.
awesome. Okay.
And she mentioned it to a friend
Mm-hmm.
who happened to know me, and that friend said, "Well, you know what? I know a guy." And the idea was we would just get together for that, for some fun,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be it.
Okay.
And we met and we started talking and we started calling each other on the phone every night. And you need to keep in mind, Diane was a legal secretary, so
Okay.
would wear suits and stuff like that. And I had hair down to my ass, and my beard was down to my belt buckle.
Nuh-uh.
Yes. And back in those days, I still had dark in my hair and my beard.
Mm-hmm.
If you look in my timeline on Twitter, you'll see my then and now, and the then picture is January 1st, 1999.
Uh-huh.
That, that's how much black I had in my beard and such at the time.
Let me see now. Is it recently?
Yeah, it was just like last week. Although I do a lot of retweets, so it's probably buried by now.
Oh no. Yeah, it's a bit buried. Okay, keep going. I'll look it up later.
Yeah. But no, it was amazing. It was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. I had been in love before,
Mm-hmm.
but this was so much more intense and so much more wonderful. And now people say, I can't imagine life without them,
Uh-huh.
and that's not really right. You can't imagine what it would be like to be without them. The thing that I couldn't imagine, the thing I couldn't remember was what was life like before I met her.
Aw.
Because and it didn't take long for that to happen because you're so happy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved in together and we lived together for a couple of years. And I proposed right at the stroke of midnight, December 31st, 1999, just as it turned into Y2K.
Oh my God.
And her reply was, I asked her to marry me, and her reply was, "Why?"
Hmm.
Well, she was flabbergasted because she had no idea I was going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the why was, why fix something that's not broken? And I was like, well, because I want to be with you forever. And if something happens to me, I want you to be taken care of without a whole bunch of legal hassles and everything. Because honest to God, I fully expected to go before she did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have lived a pretty rough life at times.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of stuff. I've taken a lot of damage. I'm going to have to plug my phone in because it's getting ready to die on me.
It's okay. Me too. I should do the same thing.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes.
All right. All right. No, it was like I said, I expected to go before her, so I wanted to make sure she was taken care of and everything. But mostly, I just wanted her there for the rest of my life,
Mm-hmm.
because she wasn't just my wife; she was my best friend.
Yeah.
I got to get up every day and talk to my best friend and eat with my best friend and hang out with my best friend. And yeah, I had to go to work and I had, but we would go out and we would run chores together and everything. We had fun. Um, when we got here, she was going to take care of the inside of the house. I was going to take care of the outside.
Mm-hmm.
But then she started getting sick, so I had to do more and more and more. And so eventually I hired somebody to do the outside stuff. I was doing all the inside stuff and everything, but yeah, it never faltered. I mean, we had some rough times, but we never stopped loving one another.
Mm-hmm.
It was, think Gomez and Morticia Adams. We were just really into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, but that one thing that was funny was we didn't sleep together
Mm-hmm.
because she had lived on her own. She was 4 years older than I was, and she had moved down to Virginia about 13 years or 14 years before I did. That's where we met, was down in Virginia. So she had gotten to the habit of sleeping on her couch with the TV on,
Mm-hmm.
and she couldn't sleep well without the TV on. but we don't have a TV in the bedroom
Mm-hmm.
for the very simple fact that I knew she would have it on all night and I wouldn't get any sleep.
Yeah.
So she started sleeping on the couch in the living room with the TV. But we still had our fun and everything. The bed got used. It just you know, but nah, she. But we would cuddle everything. I mean, it was wonderful. Now, as she got too sick to do any of that stuff, we I still loved her. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine not. Just she was wonderful.
Can you tell us the moment, like the realization? Was it like, did you see a shooting star or something? Like, did something just land on your head when like you said, "Oh my God, I'm in love with her"? Can you pinpoint that moment for us?
Um, yeah, actually, yeah, I think I can. We had been talking to each other for about a month,
Uh-huh.
and she had been coming over because I had a dog. She had cats, and cats you can, provided they have teeth, you can leave to eat kibble and stuff for a day or so. So she would come over and spend a weekend with me, and she told me she couldn't, and it was like, oh, bummer, okay. And then she told me, oh, no, change of plans, I can, and it was just like, oh my God, I feel so great, and it was like, holy shit, I'm in love with her. I'm just, it's like that. I'm this happy because I'm in love with her.
Yeah.
So when I saw her, I told her that.
And what'd she say?
She said, well, I think I'm in love with you too.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
And then we started making plans to eventually move in together. And now we lived apart for close to a year,
Mm-hmm.
but she came up and she met my family. We came up here for Thanksgiving, and mom took her shopping. And now, I had a dog at the time named Sally, and Diane absolutely loved Sally. So when mom took her shopping, she found a shirt that had a picture of a dog that looked kind of like Sally. So mom bought it for her for Christmas. And she wore that shirt a lot.
That's awesome. Awesome. Okay. So you've seen some things in your years. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts of like the climate of the world right now?
Okay. I am not at all happy about a lot of the stuff I'm seeing. There are things that are making me very happy. The Me Too movement is great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the BLM movement is great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the the movement to gay marriage. I've been for gay marriage since the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a wonderful thing. There's been a lot of good things, but I'm unhappy. The rise of white supremacy, Nazism. I mean, we fought that shit
That's a thing.
once already.
I can't believe that's a thing, the Nazism thing.
Yeah, I mean, I know they've always been around. There have been Nazis in this country since World War II.
Mm.
And occasionally, they would be in the news. There was a march and they were kicked out or there was a fight or something, but they were never a big thing, not until Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And that shithead just he made it okay to be a racist prick. And I don't like what happened to the GOP.
Mm-hmm.
Time was when I got started in messing around in politics. I don't I never run for office or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but I have I've been voted and I've worked on campaigns as a boots on the ground type thing before. But back then, the GOP and the Democrats, we wanted the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted a society that worked. We wanted people to get everybody's lives should always be getting better as much as possible.
Okay.
the difference was how do we get there,
Yes. Yeah.
and that's policy. So that was, we could argue policy, and sometimes they would get heated, but you knew at the end of the day, everybody's on the same team. We're all Americans. We're all trying to reach the same ends. It's just
Mm-hmm.
how do we get there?
Mm-hmm.
And we had some bad racists in the Democratic Party at the time.
Mm-hmm.
The southern states were solidly Democratic,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Republican Party and Nixon had what they called the Southern Strategy, which involved peeling off the southern states by appealing to racism, because Lyndon Johnson had signed the Voting Rights Act that said black people get to vote and you can't stop them. And when he signed it, he said, "This is going to lose the South for the Democrats for at least two generations," or
Mm-hmm.
words that. And we started peeling. Democrats started peeling off and becoming Republicans, and the Republicans started going with uh, dog whistle ads about, you know, black people basically being bad.
Mm.
And you had things like the Willie Horton ad. You had things like Ronald Reagan and his welfare queens with Cadillacs bit, and it was all bullshit, but it gave the racists something. It appealed to them, so
Mm-hmm.
they flipped party. They became Republicans. And what's funny is, before that, Republicans had really been the more liberal party in terms of how they treated black people. Um, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and Teddy Roosevelt, my personal favorite president, was a Republican. He's the guy who started all the national parks.
Yes.
And at some point, now the Republicans had always been in favor of business. It was always more about business than it was the worker. They were they were the more liberal in terms of uh, race, but they were very much rich people shouldn't have to pay taxes. Let the poor people do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And of course, we didn't really have an income tax back in the old days. Uh, that it, I want to say that got started around 1917 or so,
Okay.
but I could be wrong. I could be off a few years on that. But yeah, during the 1800s and such, there wasn't an income tax per se. But Teddy Roosevelt was a trust buster. He busted up the trusts that were making things worse for everybody. Um, he was a tough son of a bitch too, and he my actually my favorite story about Teddy Roosevelt, and okay, favorite story about Teddy Roosevelt. He was out. He loved to spend time outdoors. He was
Mm-hmm.
he was very much the man's man that way, and he was out. Had a rifle and a hunting knife that his he had borrowed from his son, and had some dogs with him. And the dogs took off after something, and he went with them. And they had cornered a mountain lion, but the way they were all jumping around, he couldn't shoot it because there was too much chance he would hit a dog. So he jumped on it with his knife and killed it with his knife. Hello. Oh, there you are.
He killed it with his knife?
Yes. He fought a mountain lion hand to hand.
Wow.
That's how tough he was.
Yo.
And when he was running for re-election, just before he gave a speech, a guy came up and shot him in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing he let them do was stick a bandage on it. Then he went up on stage and gave an hour-long speech.
No, he didn't.
Yes. And then after that, he let him take him to the hospital.
I don't know that story. What?
Yeah, he was a tough son of a gun.
That's a badass.
Yes,
Wow.
some
Leading
of our forefathers were really bad.
I was like leaning into the camera, like listening to the story. That's so cool. That's so cool. Wow. Thank you for that fun fact.
Yeah.
um, what advice do you give to men, especially after this Gillette commercial? Like, I've never seen so much hoopla over
Oh
a
my God,
commercial.
the whiny ass little twerps.
Oh no.
The
Okay, okay. Look at
MGTOWs,
this logically though. Why do you think they're taking it so personally?
because they don't care about women. They don't view women as really people. They don't want to have to change the way they look at things. They don't want to have to change what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They've got privilege right now. I can treat a woman any way I want to,
Mm-hmm.
and she should like it. And the viewpoint that like the incels take on women is just insane.
But
It,
for those that don't know what the an incel is, could you tell them?
okay, incel is a phrase that was actually started by them. It's involuntarily celibate.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it means they can't get laid, and they have because they feel that they can't get laid. They have a really shitty attitude towards women, and they get together and they online and on groups like places like 4chan, and they tell each other how horrible women are, and they have this just utterly bizarre way of looking at it. It just this bizarre mythology about the thickness of the bones in their skull, and oh, if I had a millimeter less bone on my forehead, I'd be attractive to women. And
Mm,
I mean, it's just weird because if you look at their pictures, these are actually normal looking guys.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's I look at someone, it's like, dude, you're better looking than I ever was.
Mm-hmm.
And, I managed to get laid. Why did I manage to get laid and you can't? Because I didn't have a shitty attitude about women.
Honestly, it's so simple. It's so simple.
Yeah. Oh, there's a pooch.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'm surprised that I don't have a cat on me right now, actually.
Yeah, I had an interaction with the MGTOW, which is men going their own way. For those that don't know what that is, and it was very scary, very
Yeah.
scary. Their outlook and hatred towards women, which is also understandable because for a very long time I hated men. I couldn't stand to look at a guy for like it was like 6 months, just like looking at a guy like I just wanted to throw up. But it was just because I had associated like one shitty relationship. I thought this one shitty relationship, like all men are like that, and that's not
Yeah.
necessarily the case. And it's all about like what you choose to believe and what you're looking for. You
Yeah.
know. So, what
Yeah.
advice would you give to men on how to give and receive love?
Basically, just remember, women are people. They're fully formed. They're independent. They have their own life. You have to embrace that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not your servant. You're not their servant. I mean, unless that's a fetish you're into.
Yeah, true.
But it's like just treat them with respect and decency. Um, if you ask her out and she says no, that doesn't make her a slut. It doesn't make her a whore. It doesn't make her a bitch. It
Mm-hmm.
just makes her someone who said no.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you have to grieve over the fact that it didn't work out and move on. And don't cling
Mm-hmm.
because very few things will kill a relationship faster than being super clingy.
Oh yeah. Do I know that?
I mean, and it's a mistake. I've been on both sides of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, my first girlfriend, I was a little bit clingy, so she decided to kill me. And
Okay. That
oh,
was
she,
casual.
Yeah, well, I was walking in front of her and she shoved me over a stairwell.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, but luckily I used to have lightning fast reflexes, so I was able to grab hold of the rail as I went over. So I was hanging there, like above the thing, and I was able to get back up. But it was like, okay, I guess we're broke up now.
Yeah, right. There's no, but it's like, and that's the thing. Like some guys or girls will just go back to each other, and that's
Yeah,
not like when they
yeah,
show you the crazy first, which I don't like that word. I don't like the word crazy, but like once they show you that side of them first, like that's it. There's no bouncing back from that.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's yeah. I can understand what you mean about crazy, but I will admit I use the phrase sometimes too,
Yeah.
because sometimes it's really the thing that fits.
I think some people just like use it as a like, like you know how like every guy like has like craziest girlfriend story, but it's like what did you do to
Yeah,
make them crazy, you know? And I think it's
yeah,
just all about accountability, you know. But like some
yeah.
people have that little thing that's like that's not okay that you think that way. You should talk with someone about that, you know. Ooh, what advice would you give to younger people about life?
Oh my. First, start saving earlier than I did.
Mm,
Uh, I was well into my 30s before I started saving for retirement.
mm-hmm,
So if you can put some money away, doesn't have to be a lot. Um, if you have money problems, actually, very good thing to check out there would be Michelle Guido at Hey Guido.
mm-hmm.
She does a successful woman series where she talks about money management and stuff on her YouTube channel, which is Michelle Guido, and she has how to get out of debt, how to start saving, stuff like that. Very good series. I watched it and it's like, okay, that's some of the same stuff we did when I we were getting out of debt. So,
Yeah, she's a genius.
oh yeah, she's smart. She knows what she's doing.
She's very intelligent. I love her. Like she's the best.
Oh yeah. Well, her and you,
Hmm?
her and you.
Oh no, no, I'm no Michelle at all. I'm just a girl trying to get by. And with your permission, I'd like to do an inception of your last thing you're gonna leave us with. I keep
Okay.
in a video. So what message would you like to leave the world?
Oh my. Be kind to each other. Um, treat each other with respect, and occasionally kick some incel and MGTOW and MRA ass because they really need it.
Yeah. What do you think it like have you ever like talked to any one of them before? Like what do you think it is that might be missing in their life?
I've actually talked to a lot of them over the years.
Hmm.
I've been on the internet since 1981.
Wow.
So, yeah. And that's before there was a World Wide Web,
Uh-huh.
because that didn't start until the 90s.
Okay. So was it private or like you had to pay for it?
Well, no, it was a public network, but you had to log into the computer at the other end.
Okay.
So there were most computer systems had guest accounts. It would be a guest, and the password would be either guest or password. And they would have very limited things, and there were bulletin boards that you could connect to, and they would set up an ID for you for that. And, but it was, yeah. But yeah, I've been dealing with these guys on and off for 30 years.
Wow. And they're still here.
Oh yeah, there are actually more of them now than there used to.
What do you think will make them like slowly go away? Or do you think it's like the Nazis like if they're just not going to go away, we just have to deal with it?
Um, the big problem with the incels and the MGTOWs and the MRAs is, and it's the same problem that we're seeing with a lot of groups, is they're a self-reinforcing bubble anymore.
Okay.
They only listen to themselves. They don't go out to get other viewpoints. I mean, yes, they argue with people like Michelle or you or me or Emraz, you know, whoever. They argue with us, but they aren't really arguing. They're just spewing points, talking points.
Yeah.
Uh, they aren't critically looking at anything because they've turned off their critical thought centers in turn, and just it's the same thing that happens with uh, white supremacists and Nazis. You only look for reinforcement of what you already think,
Okay. Okay.
and that just so you think it more and more and more, and you get an us versus them mentality,
Yes.
and that really, really is not a good thing. You need to try and check out outer viewpoints, and it can happen. I know personally, I know people who were Nazis at one point who eventually realized this is bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
but they had to break themselves out of it first. Um, I know a couple of people who were white supremacists.
Mm-hmm.
One of the militias out west managed to get themselves out of it. But at some point, what had to happen was they all had to say, okay, I think there's a problem with the way I'm looking at things. I need to try and start seeing other viewpoints.
Wow, that's interesting.
And in some cases, a couple of them I know, particularly the Nazis, what happened, the reason they were starting to look at other viewpoints was they were trying to find the weaknesses in them so they could argue against them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started really listening to what the other people were saying, and it was like, wait a minute, that actually makes sense.
Wow. Thank you for that insight. Because like I've been like trying to like research the other side to try and
Mm-hmm.
understand why they feel that the way they do. And like sometimes like it sometimes like I'm like, oh my god, yeah, this does make sense, you know? Um like right now they're talking about raising the tax for rich people to 70%. Is that
70% top marginal rate. Yeah.
right? 70%?
Yeah.
And like for someone like me, like I want to like to be very successful and rich, whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm working this hard to have 70% of what I'm working towards taken away from me. You
No,
know?
that's not how it works.
Okay, explain to me.
Okay, it's the marginal tax rate. So
Okay.
you would only so like whatever your tax rate is right now, it stays the same. You earn more money, you jump up into the next tax bracket, it stays the same. You don't hit 70% until you get to 10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything you earn above 10 million is taxed at 70%. But your first 10 million is only taxed at whatever rate. Your first, say, 50 or 60, I don't remember what the tax brackets are, but all the money you earn that's within the first tax bracket is taxed at that rate. All the money you earn that is in the second bracket is taxed at that rate. All of the money you earn in the third bracket is taxed at that rate.
Oh. Okay, see
So
that now see that's not how they explained it. This is
that's because they want you to go against it.
yeah, wow. Look at how they like context is so freaking important. Oh my god. Like and this is why I try to like cuz like I never want to go into things like looking like I never want to go into things overly emotional. I want to come at it from like a logical point of view, but also from like a this is my story kind of view. Like this is what I see. Can you explain it to me better? You know?
Yeah.
That was like, wow. I learned something new today. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I think you said it. We said it earlier, but just in case again, can you tell people where they can follow you?
I'm on Twitter at Velcro Yuppie
I love the name.
and on YouTube as Velcro Yuppie.
And then on Instagram too. Or do you not use it?
Oh, that's right. On Instagram as Velcro Yuppie.
Or do you like you're not really you don't really use Instagram a lot.
Yeah, I put up a picture every once in a while. They're more than welcome to follow me.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
I'm
fun.
not kicking anybody off.
Instagram is interesting. I've been finding it very hard lately. It's very frustrating trying to network because it's there's so much faking. Oh my god, so much trying to sell you something, and it's like
Oh yeah.
fun, you know.
I I get followed by so many attractive women who are probably a bot in all honesty.
Mhm.
And then as soon as I say, okay, well, that's cool. And, and I usually do follow back.
Mhm.
So as soon as I follow them back, I'll get a DM from them saying, hey, check out this porn site.
Oh,
It's like, okay, yeah, no, I'm not going there.
jeez.
Yeah, it's either porn or women in your area want to fuck or,
On Instagram?
yeah,
Oh my god, there's gotta be a way to like filter that stuff out.
yeah, you get a lot of that.
I get a lot of oh, join this weight loss program if you spend this amount of money, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't get any of that. But I get a lot of the porn stuff and everything, which is like, I mean, it's like, I guess because I know I'm a single guy.
True.
And although what's really funny is over on Twitter, I okay, I am a straight, white, middle-aged, overweight, uh, cis man,
Mm-hmm.
and I get, especially from Germany, I have no idea why. There's a very very talented young woman named Nice One Franzi is her uh, Twitter and her YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and she's from Stuttgart, Germany. And I interact with her some, and I asked her. I said, "What is it about German guys? Because I am getting hit on by a lot of German guys."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, and the amazing thing is, I tell them, "You do know that I'm a straight guy."
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of them will look at they look at my banner, which is a picture of Diane, my late wife,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't read the bio where it says the banner is my late wife, Diane.
Yeah, it says it. It does say that.
So they'll just look at it and they'll say, "Oh, a girl, and she's kind of pretty. I'll hit on her."
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll tell them, I am a guy, and they'll go, "Oh, okay," and they'll continue to hit on me. I get, on average, I get 3 dick pics a week.
No, you don't.
Yes,
No, you don't.
I do. About half of the time they're from gay guys. The other half of the time they're from straight guys.
No, no.
Yeah, the gay guys are doing it because they're sending it to me because apparently middle-aged, overweight, bearded guys are like dead sexy to gay guys for some bizarre reason. And
It's
the straight guys think they're sending it to Diane because apparently young straight men are unable to read.
I I don't find that hard to believe for biased reasons. But
Yeah.
wow, like I have heard of like of men just getting like random things sent to their DMs. Like when I was dating with my most recent ex, I'd be like, "Why are you like messaging these girls?" He's like, "I'm not messaging in them. Like they just that's what they do." And I'm like, "Why do people do that? Like it's so
Oh yeah,
that would
well,
never
I get those too. I get boob pics.
what? Who's like you what's stopping you from like putting that on your status, if you were a bad person? Why would you do that? Whatever.
Uh,
Sorry.
I,
Get off soapbox.
yeah, it's like I don't know. I do tell them it's like, okay, if you really, really, really want to try and get my attention, show me your face
Mm-hmm.
because that's what I love most about a
Yeah.
woman. And I want to see your eyes, your smile, that kind of thing. That's what I find really attractive. Just a pair of boobs. I'm sorry, there are a lot of pictures of boobs on the internet.
Exactly. Like,
They had better be like pure gold if you're going to try and get my attention with just a pair of boobs.
wow. Oh my God, you're such a romantic. Ah, why can't more guys be like that? Why don't guys want to date?
I do not know. I have sent um, in my life two dick pics,
Mm-hmm.
and both were pictures of Dick Van Dyke. Well, although to be fair, when I was young, if you wanted to send somebody a dick pic, you had to take a picture with film, get it developed, put it in an envelope, and mail it to them. So
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for talking with me today, Kevin.
oh, thank you.
Any last words you want to leave with us?
Um, nope, nope, can't think of anything. Watch Ashley's other videos, subscribe, click the notification bell. Ashley is fantastic. She's great.
You're sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you. Okay. I'm going to go eat. You get better. Thank you guys
Oh,
so much
thank
for
you.
coming and watching. Don't forget to be nice to someone and don't forget to smile.